G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name is James, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to do another video in the Page in 10 series. We're going to need a pen to draw with. It doesn't really need to be waterproof, I don't think, but you know what, maybe I'll use a different one, just in case. I'll use this. This is a Micron, Pigma Micron 02. This is a Zig Clean Colored Dot. I'm using this for the dot marker at the end. I love the dot markers. And then I'm using a grey water brush. You could also use like just any kind of grey. It could be a pencil even. This is just to add a bit of shading. So these are the three little things I'm going to use today. I'm going to be drawing on a background that I've already created. This I did with Tombow water-based markers, and I just used a little pastel rainbow to do this check patchwork kind of quilted look. I never ended up doing anything with these pages, and I do love them, and I think this will work really well since we're only working with black, white, and grey, and to have this underneath would be really nice, I think. So we'll see what happens. If you've got a page that you've already half started, or you've got a background sitting somewhere without anything on top of it that you'd like to work on top of, even if you're especially if you're someone who gets scared to work on top of backgrounds, just try this one today. It's really simple, really cute, mostly about dots. Let's get right into it. I'm going to put this timer on. Start timer for 10 minutes. Please. Okay, here we go. First thing I want you to do is draw a line across the bottom of your page, really straight, and just leave a little gap at the edge. Now I'm going to come in a little bit from that line. Maybe I've got a grid here, so I'm coming in like three little notches inside that line. And I'm going to draw a really like long rainbow shape. Doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, that really wasn't. That's great. Really long rainbow shape. Right, now I'm going to draw in the middle. So I'm going to leave another space from the edge of that rainbow. I'm going to come into the middle here and draw a little square. And on top of that square, I want to draw a U shape that's very kind of flat at the bottom. So in fact, where we've got this square here, you could almost draw a J from the edge and then draw it backwards, a J from the other edge. See how it's kind of like a rounded shape at the bottom, but it's very flat? I might even just flatten that off a touch. Now at the top, we want to draw a straight line across to the side. So it's like a U, like a bowl with a lid on it. Underneath this little bit here, this is actually the chin. We're going to draw another one of those shapes, but really squished. So a really flattened out little oval shape there. And then I'm going to add an L. I'm going to see this side of the body here. I'm going to leave a gap. I'm going to add an L shape and just stop before I get to the edge. I'm going to draw a line down to that first line we drew and then scribble on 3 little loops for fingers. Now on the other edge, I'm going to kind of copy it, mirror it, but I'm going to make that L shape disappear behind that little arm I just drew. So now it looks like she's kind of leaning on a table. Right, we've only got a few more things to do before we get the dots on there. Above this center section here, we're going to take a couple steps up and we're going to put just a straight line. If you can, it's a little hard to do this. This is one of those really deceptively simple illustrations that have like the tiniest little details that it's honestly just pure luck sometimes if you can get it. If you can make the edges of the mouth really thin, but then the middle of the mouth slightly thicker, like a tapered line, that'll give you a much more subtle but interesting effect. So there's a little note there on the style. And then above that, we want to draw 2 little notches for nostrils. I like to think of these as one of them is a comma and the other one is a backwards, like apostrophe. I'm going to draw them right above the mouth and almost towards the edges of the mouth. They're actually quite spaced apart. Yoshi Tomonada has this really wide flared nostril style, which I think is both cute and kind of creepy the way that he puts it all together. On the edge of the face, just about the same on the same line as that nostril, I'm going to draw 2 teardrop shapes, and I want the point of the teardrop to point towards the nostril. It's this kind of eye that I think really sets it off a little bit. I also want to put a bracket or like a little C shape halfway through that eye. And now I'm going to scribble fill that section. I'm going to put 3 little lashes on top at the edge, and then 3 little lashes on the bottom towards the edge, just on the edges. And then I'm going to put a few lines coming up from that fringe or the bangs, just to show that they're there. Right, now, where we did that line first, I want to draw a little background, so she's almost sitting in a little window. So I'm just going to extend that line up just to about halfway through her head to her the top of her head, like the fringe to the top of her head, so it's about halfway here. And I'm not going to go across that hair, I'm going to stop when I get there. Luckily I've got a grid so I can kind of see which line I hit and then come back out the other side and close off that little square. Can you see how it looks like she's sitting in a window now? Now I'm just going to get this water brush filled with grey ink and I'm going to slightly squeeze it so I can get it flowing. I'm going to colour over the space next to her hair and inside that window. Ooh, this is not flowing very well. Might be out. I can hear some in there though. There we go. I only need to tint it. It just needs to be a slight shadow. I'm also going to do it over her face. I just want to make this not the same tone as the hair and the body. I'll do the neck as well. Little hands, forgot about the hands. Right, now we're just going to use our dots. If you have a gridded page like this, you can actually put your big dots in every other square box, like in every other box in the grid. I found that was a good way to keep me really symmetrical. Or you can just go wild with them. So I've put them very symmetrical here, but now I'm going to do some really small ones everywhere else. I say go with whatever is going to make you happy with your dot pattern. I really love using the dot marker, so I'm going to try and put tons of dots everywhere, but I just want to change up the size as I do it. So I'm going to really fill the bottom with a ton of different size dots and then have them dissipate by getting them smaller and smaller and more spread apart towards the side of her face, and have them really close together at the bottom here. Gives this kind of gradient look. This is like doing pointillism without actually having to worry too much about making your art supply do the points properly, because this is literally formulated to bounce over the page and make your dots. I'm going to use the other end of it and just put a dot inside every square that's down here. This is just a regular tip on the brush, so on the pen, so it's not going to give you varied dot sizes. I could do them up here as well. But I'm just going to fill them everywhere. And I'm going to put up the top here, just so you know the reference. I'm going to put Nara X Kusama. There we go. Very, very simple. If you want to just pop out her eyes a bit, you could grab a white gel pen and just color in the whites of her eyes. That would really pop. And just go nuts with the dots. You can keep it just inside the drawing we just did, or because we've got extra time, I might actually bring some of the dots outside of that frame and really go nuts. I could just sit here with this dot marker for ages. We have 2 minutes left, so we might actually try something else. I'm going to grab this ink brush and try and put some bigger dots back here. You know what, it's not going to work. I might have to grab this one. This is just a Pentel pigment brush pen, but it's got grey ink in it. And I'm just going to draw big dots outside. Just to tie everything together. maybe Kusama would have really enjoyed those zig clean colored dot markers, because I find it to be very monotonous, like very repetitive, therefore very enjoyable. It's very mind-numbing to just play with those dot markers. It's happened before. We only ever once before finished kind of early, which is great. We can add something else. I'm gonna grab a white Sharpie paint marker and just try and add some dots, circles rather, inside some of these and around the page. I'm a bit problematic pattern driven, so more is more is more is more is more. You could absolutely stop if you don't need to be doing all this in the bag of chips. Now that I've got the white marker out, let's put the white dots where all the grey is. Kind of invert the story. There we go. Stop. Fantastic. Well, there you go. There is our Nara x Kusama collaboration that they don't know about. That I hope you had a good time putting in your journal today. I hope you enjoyed this page in 10 video. There is an entire playlist of other page in 10 videos. So if you want to keep playing, just go through that playlist and select a bunch. There's all different types. We do some where we illustrate, some where we use stickers, some where we're just drawing stars or leaves. Yeah, there's a bunch, and they're all different degrees of easy. I don't think anything in there is super difficult, even if some of it is like a little quick. If you just turn your brain off and go for it, I've seen great results. So hopefully you enjoyed this one today. I will see you again another time soon. Until then, bye.